But for free, we can fix the windshield and the house.
There you go.
Okay, we are live.
Thank you, everybody, for attending this Mooresville Redevelopment Commission Thursday, June 1st, 2023. If I could, we'll officially call the meeting to order and start with our Pledge of Allegiance with a prayer followed by Commissioner Culp. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful day. And thank you for allowing us to be in a country where people made sacrifices for us that we might be free. And we thank you, Lord, that we're able to be here in this meeting where we can make decisions that will better our community and that will do things for our constituents and for the taxpayers of Mooresville. We ask that you help us to make good decisions and give us wisdom. Guide us and direct us. Amen.
Thank you, Commissioner Cole. Item number 3 on tonight's agenda, the minutes for the April 6, 2023 public meeting. We'll ask for any comments or questions before asking for a motion.
First, there's a paragraph on page 2 of it that says fire station update. I think it was a carryover from previous minutes and needs to be stricken from those minutes.
Noted.
But with that correction, I'd make a motion to accept the minutes.
Okay. With the strikeout, we do have one motion for approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Motion passes for the minutes April 6, 2023. Thank you, Dana, for pointing that out. We'll move on to the May 4th, 2023 executive session and public meeting. We'll do one motion to approve both. So do I have any comments or questions from the commission? None. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the executive session and public meeting minutes from May 4th.
I have one motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same.
I'll be an abstention.
Me too.
Okay. Next item on tonight's agenda, the financial report. Any comments or questions from the financial report that was provided? Seeing none, ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept the financial report.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Old business, Mooresville Business Center update.
We are moving right along with our inspection periods. So first up, we have Embeliso, just French Investment Corp. They are, I just had that up, hang on just a second here. They are set, will be closing by June 19th. So Ryan will have some paperwork to sign the week of the 12th, and we should be closed by June 19th. You do have, I provided you amendment number 1 to the purchase agreement. So what this amendment does is it addresses the purchase price. When we were marketing the property, we were marketing it for just shy of 17 acres. There is a little, I'm going to call it tail wooded area in the northeast part of the property that is a couple of additional acres. When we did the Alta survey, it came out to be about 19 acres. So the purchase price is the $69,000 per acre, which is what they agreed to in the original purchase agreement, times the 16 point, I believe it's 818 acres is what Banning Engineering came back with, which is essentially what we were marketing in the first place. So they will get that additional tail, as I call it, in the northeast corner. There's no access. It's really a part of that property. I don't think it's something necessarily that the commission wants to get stuck with long term, but we don't necessarily expect them to pay for it. So this is just reflective that that is the purchase price. Questions on that? I would ask for approval of amendment number 1 to the purchase agreement, please.
I would make a motion that we approve the amendment to number 1 to purchase agreement.
I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
First and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Alrighty, amendment number 1 to purchase agreement passes.
I have more.
Go
Next
for it.
update is for Old Dominion, which is the 56 acres west of the creek. Their inspection period ends June 10th. I know that they have submitted their site plan to the building department, and they're reviewing them. So we should be closing no later than July 10th. They still do have full disclosure through the inspection period to, should they want to back out. We have no indication that that is going to happen, but next meeting, they say differently.
And you said that's June 10th.
June 10th, yes. Inspection period ends June 10th. Lastly, the Buffers USA, which is the company purchasing the Shell building, they have been working with Runabout Construction on some roof concerns and just general wear and tear from the building sitting vacant. Runabout has been wonderful to work with, very quick to respond and address all of their issues and concerns. So we should be closing, the inspection period for that will be the end of the month. So in theory, again, we'll be closing on that by the end of July. That's all I have.
Any questions from the board? Anything before moving on? Seeing none. Fire station update.
I do not have an update. I don't want to take it off because it's still on the radar. We have had a couple conversations. I know Chief Dalton and I both with some members of the park board about potentially looking at some property that the park owns. So I don't want to take it off because it's still on the radar, but I don't have an update at this time.
Perfect. We'll move on to the next item, the Patel site update.
Yeah, so we're still working through that with the company. They have some design and layout changes that we're just working through and the impacts of those changes on everything, so more to come on that.
Let's see. Now we've got the Brownfield assessment grant update.
You want me to deliver the bad news, or would you like to deliver the bad news, Commissioner Culp?
Well, we didn't get the Brownfield assessment grant. We are free to reapply. Do we have a time frame set up to do the assessment or the review?
So I requested a debrief, and they came back and scolded me and said that a town official must request a debrief. So Councilman Moore, then as the president of the council, was copied on the email. He's the one that received, that we did not receive it, technically. So he asked formally for the debrief and to appoint me as main contact. So we've not heard back yet, so I'm waiting to hear on schedules, and I'll keep you in the loop on that.
Okay, thank you.
It sounds like a lot did not get it. I'm sure several did.
The number I remember was 240 or 429 applied, and they had enough money for 276. So.
Yeah.
Any questions or anything from the commission before moving on to new business? None. New business. Pass-through resolution 2023-3.
Yeah, this kind of extends off of the presentation that Baker Tilly did at your last meeting. Every year by statute, you're required to make a determination whether you want to pass through any of the assessed value or not. Based upon the expected revenues and expenses and projects. Again, that Baker Tilly went over everything at the last meeting. The resolution as drafted does not pass any assessed value through, and that is by far the most standard practice across the state as well. So happy to answer any questions or I ask any.
I just realized that wasn't printed for you.
Yeah,
It was provided to you via email, but I was going through here and I went, oh, where is it? It's not in here. So I apologize that it is not printed for you, but it was emailed a few days ago.
And just to kind of recap, the way it's written allows us a little bit more flexibility when projects arise that we just have more flexibility to, like the school project and things like that. We can.
My favorite way to look at it is the last slide that Jason went through last month, really talking about pass-through and what that means. So should the commission ever pass through assessed value, it decreases the tax rate, but it is not a dollars to dollars. The underlying taxing unit does not get the same amount of dollars that the commission is losing out on.
Right.
They say that eloquently enough,
Yes.
accurately enough.
Any questions or comments from the board before asking for a motion? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion for pass-through resolution 2023-3.
Make a motion, we approve pass-through resolution 2023-3.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed the same. Motion passes to pass through resolution 2023-3. Next item under new business, the banner request.
In your packet, you have received the request from Councilman Worthen on behalf of the town council for a quote from D&E Printing Co. In the amount of $19,890 for 197 banners for High and Indiana Street. Commissioner Williams, have you been involved in the banner discussion?
I've been involved on the committee to choose the banners and so forth with, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Or-
I didn't know if you had more context.
Ultimately, they're trying to get multiple sets of regular banners. They're going to mix in some 200th anniversary banners for this coming year. And then they're also on High Street, the entire length of the street are going to be the military banners through the Daughters of the American Revolution. And the individuals are buying those on behalf of their family member or friend. So those sets of banners will be paid for outside of town funds.
So these are the non-military banners that we're buying?
Yes, this would be the rest.
Fine.
Well,
The rest of them.
this would be the rest of the town.
Okay.
So downtown, wherever the decorative poles are.
And there's two different sizes here. They go on different poles, different areas.
Yeah, so the closer you get to downtown, the smaller the poles are actually. You wouldn't necessarily notice, but further down the street, they're taller poles, and so they're actually a different size banner.
Questions or comments from the commission before asking for a motion? Seeing none, I'll ask for the motion with the banner request.
Make a motion, we approve the banner request.
I have one motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Motion passes for the banners. Item number 7 on tonight's agenda, legal managerial update.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to see if there's much outside of what we've already talked through. So you don't have it in front of you, but I do prepare in partnership with Attorney Sturwald the pass-through worksheet, which just kind of helps guide through the math and really takes the annual report last month and kind of budget moving forward, what that looks like for the pass-through analysis. So worked on that. Obviously, a lot going on with all the inspection periods coming to an end. So it's not been as busy of a month, but there's still been some things to work through, especially with buffers in the building. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Questions for the commission?
Actually, I do have one more question. We talked last year about doing Main Street as a project. It was basically tabled because we did not want to interfere with the bicentennial for construction purposes. At this point, if that's a project the commission would like to move forward with, I think now would be an appropriate time to begin to talk about that. In my ideal world, I had actually prepared an RFQ last year, and you were actually part of that committee on behalf of the town council. So we prepared an RFP or RFQ, I can't even remember which one now, to go to engineering firms for the design work, so that then an engineering firm could be selected. Ideally, in my world, that would happen this year so that they could design in 2024. We could bid the project in the fall of 2024. Typically, that's best pricing. Happens when you bid in the fall of the prior year for construction the following year in 2025. So I don't need a decision today, but if that's something that the commission would like to move forward with, I think we need to start thinking about that and issuing that RFQ.
I'm in favor of that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll add the RFP to next month's agenda.
Perfect. Thank you.
Legal's turn.
Yeah, so the legislature session ended. One of the major emphasis this year was on housing development, and they approved revolving loan funds with the IFA. That would be in a bonding situation, but then they also made it the process much easier to establish residential single-family home TIF districts in cities, towns, and counties. So before there were certain requirements that were in addition to a regular commercial or industrial allocation area, including school approval and then certain growth metrics that were pretty difficult to calculate and comply with. Those have all been removed. Now it's much simpler. There's just one extra meeting that's involved as opposed to a normal allocation area. Just wanted to make you all aware of sort of those legislative updates that are at least possibilities. So if there are residential developments or you guys are interested in incentivizing those are now much easier.
Is that new only, or can it be to redevelop?
It can be to redevelop existing. Most likely you usually don't get as much return,
Right.
which is not a problem. No, just letting you know, just because the structure's already there and you only get that bump and
Right.
increased value, but you can rehabilitate existing homes.
Would that include infrastructure as well,
Yes.
like sidewalks
Oh, yes. Yeah.
or whatever, amenities?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to review the claims.
I would make a motion that we approve the claims in the amount of $7,537.79.
I have one motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
First and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same. Claims passes as presented. We're good at the order. Packed house tonight. Do we have any public comment? Good. All right. Mr. Williams?
Nope.
Ryan, right? Mr. Pickett?
Nothing from me?
Mr. Cole?
I do want to mention that, and I think I had talked about this before, that we have a committee that we put together with Plainfield officials, county officials, and someone from the town will be there probably going forward. But we had our first meeting in May. We took a tour of Made at Plainfield, which is their new education center that houses Vincent's, Ivy Tech, Hendricks College Network, and several other places. Wonderful facility. If you ever get a chance to tour it, I would urge you to do that. But we also discussed going forward, I believe we're going to meet quarterly so that we can make sure that we know what's coming our way from Plainfield and find ways to plan toward them. So that is happening. I wanted to make sure everyone knew about it.
Thank you, Commissioner Cole. Nothing for me tonight.
Nothing for me.
I know it's shocking, but I don't have anything.
Whoa. All right. Before that changes, next meeting date and adjournment, July 6, 2023 at 6 p.m. if that still works for the commission. So far, so good. All righty. We'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got one. Need another.
Second it.
First and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Meeting is adjourned. See everybody at the next meeting, July